And so the commentator, John Stott, in his commentary on Romans says, it is a righteous status which God requires if we are ever to stand before him, which he achieves through the atoning sacrifice of the cross, which he reveals in the gospel, and which he bestows freely on all who trust in Jesus Christ. So I want you to picture with me a courtroom scene. Perhaps if you've been on jury before at some point, you'll understand how a courtroom works. A defendant is there, guilty on numerous charges, and they stand in the dock. And the judge, having heard the defendant's charges read out, he then unexpectedly declares that the defendant is justified and they are no longer condemned. In other words, he says, I declare you as righteous and therefore no longer under the condemnation of the law, and sets the defendant free. Friends, this is what happens in the gospel. It is we who are in the dock. Our sin and charges are piled high, and God is the judge in this cosmic courtroom. And he looks over all your transgressions and then comes down the hammer. And as your head hangs, thinking that there is no hope for you, instead of hearing the words condemned, you hear your name and the word justified. You hear, set him free. I shall cover his debts. That's the message of the gospel. Paul says later in Romans 3, in the forbearance of God, he passed over the sins previously committed for the demonstration, I say, of his righteousness at the present time, so that he would be just and the justifier of the one who has faith in Jesus. You see, that God justifies the guilty and does not compromise his own justice is because in that courtroom scene, he points over to his only begotten Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. And he says, my Son shall be your willing substitute.